So, hello everybody. This is AFM Fakhruddin. I'm going to start my master's program in electrical and computer engineering from this September. And professionally, I am an aviation engineer. I have a career experience of 7 years in the aircraft industry. So I'm going to deliver a lecture which is related to aircraft and how does an aircraft fly. This is my topic, and we can say it's the theory of flight. Most of us, all of us fly with an aircraft, but we never think of how a massive chunk of iron or steel can fly. So it's a very interesting thing to me when I joined my company. I was an electrical engineer, but I'm working on the aircraft. So it amazed me. By the end of this lecture, we will be able to understand the basic principles of how the aircraft fly. We can clarify some of our common misunderstanding related to aircraft flying. We have some man-made, general-made idea, and we will be able to know how the aircraft moves through the sky even at night. The aircraft at night, there is no route or there is no specific traffic light, but how can an aircraft fly and it comes to the ground? So I'm going to cover all these things. So at the start of my lecture, do you have any idea of how the aircraft fly? Can anyone give me a simple idea? So I think you are very beginner in this topic. So the main thing is it's very heavy. So how does it manage to float? In ship or boat, we made it a little bit bigger so that it can float in the water. But in case of aircraft, there is no water, there is air. So how can it manage to fly? It needs to float in the air. Okay. If you consider aircraft in level flight, that means it's not upgoing or downgoing, ascending or descending, it's in a level flight. So there are basically 4 types of force. One is thrust force, which is forward moving. Another one is drag force. This is created by the friction of air. One is weight due to its body. Another one is lift force. All these 4 forces interact in an aircraft, which one is in level flight. And how can we produce the thrust? This is the picture of an actual engine. It's very big. This is from a Boeing 777 aircraft. It's almost looks 2 size of a man. And this is the inside of an engine. If we remove the engine cloth, then it becomes like that. So when we start the engine, these blades rotate. It sucks the air. It kicks it out through its exhaust. It looks like when somebody pulls the rope, he moves forward, something like that. So this is the typical wings of an aircraft. If we make a cross section on it, we saw a shape. It's called aerofoil shape. This is the main things behind an aircraft able to fly. This is the main principle. When air passes over an airfoil structure, the volume increases, the velocity increases, pressure decreases. But under it, the pressure remains same. So there is a pressure difference, and this pressure difference can make the lift. So I consider that 4 forces on the airfoil, on the aircraft wing. At first it was on the whole aircraft, now it's on the aircraft wing. So here thrust is there due to engine. Thrust is greater than drag. Lift is greater than weight. So the aircraft can move forward. We adjust the engine speed to make all these things happening. So the main thing is this pressure difference, just make a lift on it, and it will go, as a resultant force, it will go upward, just like a kite. Now tell me, what type of fuel is used in aircraft? Most of us, we know we are using petrol, octane or diesel, something like precious fuel in our car or bus. So aircraft can use more costly fuel. But you will be amazed to know that aircraft are using kerosene. Not only the kerosene, is the lowest graded kerosene, which is the most cheap one. And do you know why the aircraft use kerosene? Because low graded means low flammability. It's tough to make the flame. Low flammability means there is a low chance of fire, and it's lower freezing points. You know, when you go upward, the temperature is at least -50 or something like that. So the fuel can't freeze. And the cost is another important issue, and its weight also, because it's a low graded, so it has minimum weight. So what is the fuel tank? Do you ever see any kind of fuel tank in the aircraft? In the bathroom? But in a car, it's beside the engine. We can all see the fuel tank. But what is the fuel tank inside the aircraft? Did anybody see? Basically, it's under the main body and inside the aircraft wings. So if we look into the aircraft, these are the fuel tanks. It's inside under the body and it's inside the wings. These are all fuel. So there is a coordination between these things so that there is no imbalance. This is a typically Boeing 7 aircraft, 777 aircraft, which can carry up to 70 tons of fuel. This is 70,000 liters. Now, another aspects, in the middle of the sky, there is no road traffic, and how can the aircraft fly in the night? There is no window also, there is no horn also. So for these things, pilots give some longitude and latitude information just before the flying of the destination, and they're coordinated with the GPS satellites, and there is some ground-based station all over the world, so there is a coordination between the satellite and the ground station. All the time the aircraft is under watch of any satellite or any ground-based stations. So there is a coordination, and there is also a coordination between the air traffic controller, airport. Now, comfortable environment inside the cabin. Do you ever feel any kind of discomfort inside the cabin? But the manufacturer tries to make it as like as we are on the ground. So basically, if we discuss some minor discomfort, we looks like inside under the ground inside the cabin, isn't it? There is no breathing problem or pressure problem. When we go upward, the temperature drops, pressure drops, and no air to breathe. About 35,000 feet, the outside temperature is almost -50 to -70, and no pressure and no oxygen. Then how do we survive? It's very tough, because here there is atmospheric pressure. It's very important for us to survive, because it keep our blood cells inside the vein, the blood remain flowing. But if there is no outside pressure, the blood will come up itself. So it will break our brain cells. It can come out any kind of hole through our bodies, like air, nose, something like that. But we are not. We didn't feel any kind of such type of things inside the cabin, because we are not worried about this, because we never feel any discomfort. But it's a huge thing, because we have to maintain the same environment at least 35,000 feet up. So it's very tricky, it's very risky. And another thing is, there is no mobile phone network, there is no satellite communication to the ground. So how do the pilots communicate with the ground? They have to, they are always talking with the airport persons. And also there is no visibility during the night time. So how does they manage to avoid the collision with other aircraft? Because you cannot see anything, there is no light. So you have to avoid the collision with other aircrafts. So I'm going to clear these things in my next micro sessions, in my micro teaching sessions. I think you have to have patience up to tomorrow, because it's very small amount of time. And do you have any question up to the point? I'm expecting a simple question. How many wings in an aircraft? How many wings? Okay, I think by this small effort we are able to understand at least some principles. And common misunderstanding, lots of people think the fuel kept in separate tanks, or there is no fuel. Someone told me in my earlier sessions somewhere else, there is no fuel. So this is the misunderstanding I think I can able to clarify. So that's all. My trying to teach you a micro lesson. Have a nice day.